to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Call the November meeting to order. Entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
I'll make that motion.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. We have an agenda. Parts of the consent agenda have already been in your hands for quite some time. Is there anything you need pulled out that we want to discuss? No? Good, Lee?
If one of you is missing fire board minutes, I may have given myself an extra copy. So if you don't have them in your packet, there's an extra in mine.
Okay. There being nothing pulled out, I would entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I'll make that motion.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. Consent agenda is approved. Okay. Public comment. Again, so you all been here, but you can step to the podium, be recognized, say your name, and we'll hear your discussion.
Penny Bassett, can you tell me who to get a hold of for a property split for Maple Valley?
Yeah, it would be ours. Well, yeah, our assessor would do that.
Okay, so Amanda is still our assessor, so I can contact her? All right, well, that's just rumor that she wasn't the assessor anymore, so before I wasted my time on property splits calling her, I just wanted to check to verify that's still.
Yeah, the last meeting, you were here at the last meeting, so we had that discussion, that we were gonna, she was hired on a month by month to get all of our things lined up for fiscal year. Yeah, she's still our assessor.
Okay, well, as rumors spread, even though, yes, I was here and that was said after that meeting, and that's why I'm asking, because rumors spread, that the assessor up and quit.
Nope, we're good.
Okay, so that's why I wanted to check, because I
There you go.
have to, for a property split, and I thought that's who it was, but I didn't want to waste my
You're all
time.
set.
Thank you.
Yes.
Hi, Kathy Huntley.
Kathy.
What's the chances of checking into the roof on the pavilion here in the park? It
We are
really
actually
needs some
looking
repairs.
this year at what our next, what our
Capital improvement plans are.
exactly
Good.
improvement plans, and
Okay.
that's on the list.
So
So
that's
we'll
on
be making
the
a decision on
agenda.
how we wanna handle that one, because it is pretty rough, exactly, yep. Yep, absolutely.
Are there any legal problems in the pavilion right now?
There won't be shortly. How's that? You know a guy, how's that?
There were problems with it, right?
There is a little issue with who owns what.
Right.
Yeah, right now, but we're taking care of that, so we'll bring some to the board once it's all lined up and what makes sense we're just gonna basically trade land for land, just land that the pavilion sets on for land directly behind where the church is at, and just change the church's footprint. But once we get that laid out there, get the board approval, go from there, so.
It became a problem with who owned it. Parks
Yeah,
and-
remember that, yeah.
Yeah, right now,
The church.
yeah,
Not your church, but the church before wanted a bajillion bucks for it.
yeah, not doing it. No, we're not playing that game, we're all set,
Yeah.
so, all right.
This makes a lot more sense.
Yeah, we're gonna make it make sense and put the line where it makes everybody happy, and, yeah, there's no sense in going crazy, yep. Yes, indeed. Is there any other public comment? Very well, all right. have some unfinished business. We did get our update, thank you, Ann, from Peterson Park. Is there anything
You did
new?
get it in the mail?
We did, we didn't get any in the mail yet, but
Cause I got my copy in the mail just today.
Gotcha,
So,
very good, then
it
we will
should be
keep our eyes
somewhere.
open for it, so
Okay,
Very good.
somewhere.
appreciate you staying on that one, but yeah.
They did not do right from the beginning, and every time I saw my lawyer, I told him there was a portion that needed to be split off from what the township was getting, because it needed to go to the fire department. I spoke with Tim about it, and then we've come up with a plan to make sure that happens, because it didn't happen the way I wanted it to, so.
It needs a slight amendment.
Got it, okay.
Yeah, we'll get with your lawyer so he can file the correct, whatever needs to be done with register of deeds, so that we can get it amended.
Yeah, the fire pit, and there's like just a few feet there that the fire department's been using.
Right, yeah, that's that piece, that's part of the park, but,
It's
okay.
got the flagpole and all the memorial stuff
And the
there.
basketball court is what it
There's
is.
a little basketball court they use right there.
Got it, okay.
Basically, all of the pavilion, there's no wall there, but that way is what you're supposed to have,
Got it.
and the rest of it needs to go to the fire department, so.
Got it. So they'll just need a little legal description adjustment in there and make that happen.
That's right, where the line goes.
Sure, yep,
Yep.
yep. I'm sure the attorney's well capable of that sort of thing.
And there will be a map with your copy, because I got a copy of the map,
Okay,
so
all right.
unless you wanna take a picture of this map, but
No, that's fine, or
There will be a
maybe, I mean, legally, it should probably be split off, and that would be then
Yeah.
quit claim to the fire department.
Fire department instead of the township, so that'd probably be something to do with the township and the fire department.
thorough from A to E Street makes sense to me, that you would split that off to the fire department.
Right. We'll figure that out.
Okay,
Thank you, Ann.
you're welcome.
And then I have an update from Melissa, just messaged me
Okay.
about the benches and basketball stuff.
Ah,
So they will be making concrete bases for the benches this weekend, hopefully, and they are returning the basketball backboards that were received because they were poor quality.
I see.
So because she chose those, and once they arrived, they opened one, and they were not what she expected.
Got it.
And so we've started that return process. I got all the return paperwork to get it back to Amazon. So that's where we're at with that, and she's looking to see if she can find something that is a better quality product for those basketball stuff. So she said she would let us know, but that's where we're at with the benches and stuff. Benches have been delivered. They're just getting the cement done this weekend, hopefully.
Very good. Any more on that? Are we good?
That's all that she texted me, so.
Gotcha, very good. Is there any unfinished business that we have laying out there that we're not aware of on the agenda? All right, moving on to new business. Number one, we have a preferred vendor list for Maple Valley Township purchase policy. We instituted the purchase policy for who we bought from and that gave us that general, who we've used in the past and who we kind of pre-approved up to a certain amount, and that's part of our purchase policy. But we had not yet attached to that any list of vendors, because we said from an approved vendor list, we hadn't done that yet. So went through the ones that we have used successfully over the past 3 years.
Yeah, give or take, yeah.
Yeah, let's say, went through all of those, figured out who it was, who we'd used in the past. You'll see that in your packet there, who we have. They've always served us well, and they've been giving us competitive quotes. And of course, anything according to the purchase policy that needs a competitive quote, they'd be doing the same thing. But these are the folks that we've used in the past and will continue to use. But we want to make sure this is all T's crossed, I's dotted, and we want to make sure we have that approved and in the right folder, so to speak.
Do we have any construction guys on the list?
I think we have JD on there, aren't we?
No, they did not get the, I am so sorry that JD Builders is not on there.
Oh, yeah, put them on there.
I thought so too, so see, this is why it's good to have
There we go, extra eyes.
an extra set of eyes to look at this, because
I had emailed, the old treasurer, Abe had wanted to be involved in some of this stuff, he's licensed and insured and part of our
Yeah.
community.
he never calls back.
No,
No,
Have you,
he has come here to give us quotes on a couple occasions, but has not
okay,
sent anything back. So these people that are on this list are ones that we've actually dealt with, who got back with us, and who've actually performed the work.
That is not to say that we don't, on bigger projects, we won't just naturally shove it to these people, and I think bigger, we would naturally put it out for quote, but these things that don't have to, but things that don't have to be quoted, in that way we are. There's no question as to who we're using right now, I guess, with the thing.
But that's where this list came from. These are ones that have provided us with, obviously, if they had liability, insurance or anything like that, then we have all of those things. And we've used them previously. But I will add JD Builders to that because that is, my bad, it's not on there. These are in alphabetical order, mostly. Is Parkhurst left off in which one?
In this is only fiscal year '26. So fiscal year '27, if we have somebody that comes up and says, hey, we want to be a preferred vendor, we can find one as well. It's not like it's a locked-in list for the next millennium, so.
No, our purchase policy states that we will approve our list every fiscal year. So this will be good through March of 31st, and then basically at our March meeting, we'll adopt a new list
Right.
that will take us through the
So
fiscal
this
year
section only good
27.
through March of next year.
That is
right?
correct.
Right.
According to our purchase policy, that is what we set up, is that we would do a preferred vendor list
Yeah.
every year, because obviously it can change.
Right.
And we want to make sure that we can change it to add people, take some off, maybe, maybe one didn't do a good enough job or something. So,
So I would entertain a motion to accept this with the addition of JD Builders.
so move.
Any more discussion on the motion? Those in favor?
aye.
Those opposed? All right, passes. We are the vendors list. As we discussed the last meeting, our attorney and then I learned at the training, which by the way, I had a chance to put together a full list, but holy cow. Talk about drinking out of a fire hose. So you learn a lot of those things. That was amazing. The MTA puts on, you get people from like 7:30 in the morning until 5 o'clock at night. You are just in class after class after class after class. And they're feeding you information. It's good. I found it interesting that the same public comment policy that our attorney had given us is the same one MTA is putting out. And to be clear, these are minimums. This does not mean we can't adjust this to be bigger or more extensive as we see fit. But this is for, like this meeting, which is an observatory meeting. This does not apply to participatory meetings. So it does not apply to town halls. It does not apply to any workshops, any place where we're asking for public interaction, where we're asking for the public to be involved. This does not apply to any of that. It's just for these, for our meetings to have public comment. So it's the minimums for public comment. It's basically a nod to OMA saying, yes, we're abiding by OMA and we have the policy in place is what it is. So it took me 3 minutes and it took the person explaining it, I think, 15. So I saved you some pain. But anyway, that's kind of what that went. But it was very interesting to explain a lot. Apparently there are still some townships out there that are not giving the nod in all their meetings to public comment. And so this was put out for consideration. What's that?
Giving them,
As far as giving it, they were not acknowledging OMA. They were not always acknowledging OMA in all of their
the open
meetings.
meetings act.
Correct. They were having meetings that didn't have public comment in them. So they were, I guess, a significant issue. Obviously, it's not been one here, but it's been, we wanted to have it in our background and said, yes, we're doing as we should with OMA. So.
Well, yeah, I was reading up on the fact that we needed a policy
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
because we didn't have one.
Mm-hmm.
But this kind of dictates what we're gonna follow, right?
It gives us our minimums, so it's like the electric code basics, you can always go beyond it. So, in other words, in here it says, not sure where it's at, I think it's in, like D, for instance, under 3, says, no, that's not it either. It's a minimum of, so in several places you'll see it's a minimum of. So we say that we're going to have a minimum of one time, but that's the agreement with Holman that says you will have one public comment during the meetings. Yeah, under A, 2A. So in other words, these rules apply to public comment period in any regular or special meeting or in any committee meeting. So this applies to our planning commission, ZBA, any of those meetings. It gives us our minimum that says we're going to make sure that we follow Holman across the board. So that gives us that. So we're saying yes, we will follow the guidelines. We will make sure that the public comment in every agenda, and it will apply to all of our meetings that are committee meetings, not participatory meetings, but work meetings like this one.
I'd like to make a motion that we adopt the draft public comment policy as presented.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. So we have a list of capital improvement projects. Three in the little packet. Three. No. Yes. Let's see. Put one of mine's on too lost.
No, I put them on other.
Everybody's in the magic care.
This list is not inclusive, this is just things that have crossed my desk and things that have been kind of sitting there hanging out. The one thing I will say about number 2, the election equipment, the tabulator and auto writer, we will have to replace them in 2027 because our current contract is up in 2027. I'm assuming that will be in the beginning of 2027 we'll be purchasing that, but I don't know for sure, but I would like to make sure that we are not unprepared for the purchase of those. And I was told to budget $15,000 to $20,000 minimum for the 2 pieces of equipment. So that was what the Bureau of Elections told us at our training.
This is something that we have to update.
Yeah, we have to, I mean, this is not a non-negotiable. This is we have to do it because that's one of the statutory duties of township. Taxation, assessing, elections. Those are our 3 main purposes as a township. So I wanted to make sure that this was kind of high on the list, obviously, because we need to set the money aside for it. I don't know if it's going to be the beginning of 27 that would affect the 26-27 budget year, or if it's going to be after April of 27. So I just want to make sure that we have it budgeted so that we don't get caught unaware. They haven't given us a timeline of when this purchasing would be happening, but I just wanted to make sure that everyone was aware of it and to know that this is something that has to be done and it has to be written. And I think we remove ourselves by having it written in the 26-27 fiscal year.
Agreed, take half of it, put it at 26.
Well, 26-27 starts March of 26 and goes into April of 27. So if we have to purchase January of 27, we need to make sure we have it budgeted.
So it's there for us.
So it's there for us because, I don't know if it's gonna happen between January and April of 27, or if it's gonna be maybe December of 27 when this purchase happens. I haven't been involved in that part of it yet, so I don't know. Because that's something that comes from kind of the county, because they're the ones that do all of the contracting. Because that's how we have hard machines in the county of Montcalm.
Is the county part of that?
No.
Yeah, they tell us what needs to be done.
No, actually, this came from the
Yeah.
state.
Gotta
This
give you
isn't,
that.
the county does the contract because we all have the same type of machines. As far as, and that way we get a better discount for maintenance and volume purchasing. But the state tells us, gives us the timeline of when these things, and it is the township's responsibility.
I'm just bringing it up because we're adding something to our budget that doesn't exist currently.
No, and that's why we're bringing it up now, so, because that's,
They think they fork over some cabbage.
You know, it's, you know,
well, it'd be nice, but it's also one of the statutory duties of a township. I mean, and so that's part of the general fund that we need to have ready to utilize for that, because it's one of the basic functions of a township.
Where are our tabulators going to be? When they get stored?
And we locked off it. It's climate control.
So it's basically, PPE.
That's
Yeah.
correct.
Gotcha.
So that's why I'm bringing it up, because obviously it's a large purchase, and we need to be aware of it. But I kind of put these together because Bruce will be, I know he's been working on the budget stuff, and this is stuff that China's been, like I said, sitting around on my desk, and said, then you guys can look it over and get with Bruce and tell him, hey, I think that here's the top 4 things I think we should concentrate on, or 3 things, or whatever, or we need to add something to it.
this does not require a motion or anything, this is just getting this in front of all of us, so we got something to look at.
What about furnace when they're conditioned, need to be replaced or just?
They need to be replaced. The units that we have right now were put in originally when the building was built. When the air conditioner quit in August, when we had that swamp weather, and it was, of course, the only weekend that when this was rented to, well, it was actually right before the weekends that we had it rented. They replaced the one part on the condenser out there, they got it going, and they looked at both. I said, can we just get a new air conditioning unit? They said, no, because our furnaces are so old, we can't retrofit new equipment to them. So, and both furnaces and air conditioning units are of the same age.
1990?
So, they are in need of some upgrades.
35 years, we did okay.
So that would be 2 furnaces.
Yeah,
Yes.
2.
There's 2 furnaces and 2 air conditioning units. So,
And we could probably space those. I don't know what kind of deal they would give us if we could do and I don't know what other money there is out there. I've got meetings scheduled with Pat Altman because there's some money laying around that I found out from, at the MTA meeting that we're not using, which might be off topic, but, there's money that we're not tapping into that's actually earmarked for us for certain projects. And some of it we use and some of it we don't because we just don't ask for it. So there's some things like public safety that we're not tapping into. There's some things that we can do. I've got a meeting set with the sheriff to sit down and talk with him. I don't know if you've looked at the violent crime numbers for Maple Valley, but they're frightening. We're double digits for violent crime every year. In Maple Valley Township, we've got roughly a violent crime, which is all the bad ones, every month in Maple Valley. And so I want to sit down with our illustrious sheriff and say, where, what? Because it's not like you got a one-off, like 1 year it's bad. It's been for the last 3 years. I mean, it's like 12, 10, 11. I mean, violent crimes per year. And I mean, I don't know where they're from. And it includes things like domestic violence. I mean, but it's got to be major assault. I mean, it can't just be somebody, didn't like what you said. I mean, it's got to be bad, right? Armed robbery, murder. I mean, that stuff. And so I was curious because I looked at all the other townships around us, and they don't all of them have it. I mean, we're up neck and neck with some not good townships. And so I wanted to look at because there's some money laying out there, and I don't know, first of all, you got to find out where it's from, right? Is it something you can even address, but at least figure out what we're at and where that's coming from, and figure out why we're getting those numbers, because that's something that kind of it jumped out at me when I looked at that report. I thought, ooh, that's a pretty good size. So anyway, that brought me into, there's money out there that is allocated for certain things that we have not always tapped into, so we'll be looking into some of that. Hopefully, we can use some of that for these various things. I know we do have some stuff, we did like doors and that sort of bit, but, we've also got some stuff that's laying out there, especially for public safety and that sort of thing. So we may be able to help with cameras, it could be with, there's stuff that's active. I brought that paper in, but I can't remember how they call it, but there's like active law enforcement. If you have a contract with a law enforcement agency for, if you've got somebody that comes in and you're contracted to show up, whether it's a sheriff or whatever, and then stuff that's that's just to be done by the public, whether that's the speed limit signs or that sort of thing, so. But we'll get a little more information on that and see what's out there that we haven't been able to get into, so. Anyway, and some of that, we'll find out what's available for these different items too, so. As I find out how much money we can apply to it and what of these items can be paid for, then that way, by the time we get around to budget time, I'll have better numbers for saying, this object we can get paid for, and this object we're gonna have to pull out of our own pocket, so at least we'll know where our money's coming from, but.
We had budgeted for capital improvements, just
Yeah.
capital outlay type stuff.
Yeah,
What do we have?
What do we
right
have?
now?
Now, what do we budget every year for that?
Depends on the project. Because we make them, each individual has their own budget line. And then whatever is left over, then we have one line that says future projects, and that is basically all the money left over. So right now, we're sitting around $500,000, which we should have. That's about the number we want, because we want to have a year to year and a half worth of money sitting there in case of,
Amen? For real?
for fiscal, to cover your fiscal year.
so that's in front of you, and this will be something we'll keep active, keep working with as I get more information, as we drag in more information, we'll keep everybody apprised as to what can get covered and what may not, so. And that will help us, I think, make good decisions on what we pick and what we don't pick to go ahead and tackle.
And there are some things through Michigan Municipal League, our insurance, they do have some grants that I was just looking at, and there's been forwarded information on to you, kind of about, liability issues. So you can get it like for cameras or to resurface some things to make sure that you're mitigating your liability, for falls or theft or anything of that nature. So I just got an email with some of that stuff, so I was going to send it out to you guys so you can look at it as well. And there's a couple other but those grant cycles don't start until next year. And some of them are matching fund grant, so we just have to plan accordingly.
Yeah.
So you don't have anything in your
Okay,
packets.
on those, all right.
I can hand this around if you guys want to look at it, but there are 3 PA 116 applications for 3 pieces of property owned by Ken and Carrie Newell, that they've asked to be approved to be into the farmland, is what it is. We, as the governing body, local governing body, have to accept them and then send them on. I've already sent them on to, because this is part of what we have to do, sent them on to the West Michigan Regional Planning Commission. They've sent a letter back saying thank you that they have that, and they've already been sent off to the conservation program in Montcalm County, because they have to be sent to there as well, because everything has to be scanned and emailed over to them so they can approve them as well, and you have to send letters showing that we proved that we did that. Because there's a lot to have to do with them, or they get sent on to MDR. So we have to do a roll call vote for a resolution
Got it, so.
to accept them or deny them
Got
into if we'd like to accept their PA 116 applications.
Yeah. All right, so roll call vote. First, we need a motion for that one.
Yes.
I entertain a motion to accept the PA 116 applications from Mr. Ken Newell. There are 3 of them in the file. I'd accept the motion to accept those.
Make that motion.
All right.
Support.
Support. All right, so we have a roll call. Any more discussion on that motion? Good. All right, roll call vote on that one. Count?
Is Lee.
Why did I say Ken? You look like a Ken. Lee.
Sorry. One of those days. Lee.
Yeah.
Yes. Aye. Tim? Andy?
Yes.
There we are.
I'll get these scanned and sent over to MDR.